Hello, and welcome to the first episode of Climate Made Simple. To begin to understand climate and how we can affect it, we first need to understand exactly what climate is, which is the focus of today's episode. Climate is often difficult for many to understand at first, because the changes happen over a long period of time, or at least it should, but we'll get to that. It isn't the weather, but weather is a part of climate. Imagine you're driving a car. You see, climate is like a highway. It's a long road. There are the usual twists and turns, but if you're paying attention, you can see them coming. You can see if there's a toll road up ahead. You can also see when the exits are coming up. And you can also see the speed at which you are supposed to adhere to. It all follows a particular pattern. Most of these things a driver knows from experience and by looking at the signs. Climate scientists also look for signs that tell them the direction the climate has taken on a world or regional scale. Sediment deposits, tree rings, fossil remains, and more can all be used to determine the twists and turns of climate. Mainly, these signs give us clues about the habitats of the past, how hot or cold the Earth's surface might have been, what types of smaller weather events would have been more prevalent in a given area, and how long these events lasted. This, in turn, would give us ideas of what type of climate was predominant. They help us to measure our own climate in the present day, and they can also give us an idea of what may be coming up in the future, again, like exit signs on a highway. We'll get into how some of these signs work in later episodes, but just remember, climate is made up of patterns over a long time period, patterns that change over decades, sometimes centuries. So hopefully now you have an emerging understanding of what climate is. So, if it isn't weather, what is weather? Well, if climate is the big pattern, then weather can be seen as the individual parts that make up the pattern. It changes often, too often for us to predict it for more than a week at most. It isn't climate, but it isn't totally separate from climate either. Let's go back to our highway example. While you can see the turns and exits by looking at the signs if you're paying attention, other daily events may affect your drive. Wet roads, construction, bad drivers, and accidents can all influence your path. You still will be heading in the same direction, with the same twists and turns, but your experience may be different on a day-to-day basis. Your car may break down. You may have to spend more time on the road because you are slowed down by an accident. It doesn't change the path of the highway or the signs, but you can't predict where or when these things will happen. If I asked you to take a peek at your calendar through spring, summer, fall, and winter, depending on where you are in the world, you could probably tell me what the weather would be like for each season. That would be an understanding of a climate pattern. Now, if I asked you, would it rain or snow on your birthday? Or would it be sunny or cloudy on the first day of school? It becomes much more difficult to predict what might happen on the exact day. That would be weather. So in review, climate is the larger pattern that one can see based on evidence and experience for the world or a particular region, and can be used to predict the general weather events of a given time period. Weather is the short, day-to-day atmospheric events that make up the regional and world climate patterns. The two are related, but not the same. Please join me for future episodes where we continue our deeper understanding of the world's climate and biosystems. Well, that's it for today. If you liked the video, please click the like button and subscribe for more simple climate content. And if you would like to support the channel even more, check out my Patreon page. Lastly, I would like to thank you all for watching. I'm Eric, and this is Climate Made Simple.